everyone. Myself Tanvi Mankapure from Team Symposium. I welcome you all to another episode of SymMeet. Today we have with us a TEDx speaker, author of Amazon #1 best-selling book, and an award-winning business coach, and an amazing person, Geetika Saigal. Ma'am, I welcome you on behalf of Team Symposium, and we are glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Okay. So hope you're doing all right in this lockdown. So my question, the first question is it difficult for you to come up with different ideas for writing in this lockdown? And have you inculcated any new hobby?
Um, no, I don't think there's ever any dearth of ideas in my head. And the lockdown, if anything, I think it's helping people to come up with more ideas. Because simply put, I think ideas come when you spend some time with yourself rather than just with the world. So, contrary to popular belief, ideas are not getting bombarded from inside. Ideas usually come, from outside. Ideas usually come from inside of you, and this lockdown has literally forced the entire world and everybody to just spend more time with themselves. So I
Right.
don't think any dearth of ideas that I've been facing, or even other people for that matter. And I think it's been a good learning experience for a lot of us throughout. You know, in terms
Yes.
of
Yeah.
in terms of hobby, well, my favorite hobby in any case was quite often to run away from the world and spend time with myself. So this lockdown is just a very nice excuse to do exactly that.
Right. Right. Yeah. So moving on from being a college student to now being an author of a #1 book, best-selling #1 book, how has this transformation been, and how do you feel about your journey?
I think the journey, if I had to put it in one word, I'd say it's been very interesting. Okay, and that's primarily, I think, been because I've not always gone down the, traditional path, or the route which we are being told to follow. I've always had this, a very curious state of mind with which, I kind of like to explore new stuff, and I follow
Right.
my, which many a times makes me fall hard also, but then that's what makes life
Mhm.
interesting. So yeah, I think the
Yeah.
journey has been exciting. It's been a very interesting mix of crazy highs and some
Yeah.
horrible lows as well. But I'm thankful for that, and it's been a good life. No regrets. So that's my
Wow.
biggest trust in life. It's perfectly fine to screw up, but don't have regrets.
Yeah. It's amazing. Okay. So we all have a role model, or we all have a support system to whatever any particular field we are. So who has been your role model till date?
Okay, so yeah, I'm a big propagator of having role models, right? Because I think role models are just
Hmm.
people who've gone further up in the journey that you yourself want to travel, right? So from that perspective, for me, role model has never
Right.
been somebody that I'm just looking up and, in awe. But for me, it's always been somebody who's already treaded a path which I want to take, or which I want to test out for myself. And therefore, they would be having, either
Okay.
skills or traits or some experiences with which I can learn from. So from that perspective, I've like had n number of mentors, not like just depending on the
Okay.
phase of life that I was in. So when I was in the corporate world for a long time, almost close to 14, 15 years, right? So I had many role models through that. In fact, I remember I would say the first
Hmm.
role model in my career was this gentleman who was, um, well, my boss's boss,
Hmm.
because I was just, I think
Okay.
20, 24 at that point of time when I started my career. And he used to believe in this mantra of management by walking, right? Which meant that
Okay. Hmm.
leaders leaders should not just sit cooped up in their cabins, but they should walk around in the office, and that's how you get to know the vibe of the colleagues and the rest of the office, as well as you're able to give your small wisdom bombs, as you walk around.
Right.
And I think
Right.
that's one golden nugget which I'd got very, very early on in my career when I was just entry level. And that,
Right.
kind of taught me the art of always being very close to the people that I work with. And I think that's one of the key things that has helped me succeed in many of my goals in life, because I truly believe that effort comes from the self, but success
Mm-hmm.
never just because of yourself. Self. Success comes because of
Right.
all the people and forces around you together. It's success is always from a team. So yeah, that was
Right.
my first mentor. So you
Role
never
model.
first. And then at different points of life, I've had lots of other great people that I've interacted with. Sometimes it's just an event that you learn from.
Hmm.
So you can
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
mentor who rather you can have an interaction with somebody for just maybe 10 minutes, but it had such a profound impact in your life that you can say that he's been a mentor for me. It might have been just for 10
Hmm.
minutes, not that you need to know somebody,
Yeah.
but just a thought or just a direction which they gave you in life, and that can just kind of accelerate your.
Right.
So yeah, I've had lots. Very
Right.
fortunate.
Yeah. Okay. So about writing, how do you get these unique ideas? So is it like you need some cozy place or some interaction or incidences that have happened help you come up with these great ideas?
Well, I believe that everybody has a lot of ideas within themselves.
Hmm?
Because I truly believe that everybody
Right.
has potential, and this potential is coming from the ideas, nothing else, right? It all starts with the
Right.
idea. Skills, the action, the effort all comes after that. However, I think that
Hmm.
a lot of us miss out on spending some me time and reflection time, in order for those ideas to actually come
Right.
out into the real world and take shape. So I
Hmm.
think that's a habit which I've always had from childhood. I've always been a very curious child by nature. So I've always been
Okay.
asked, the silly, crazy why questions. Why is the sky blue? Why can't fish fly? Why, how do birds? Why do we have two eyes if we have to look at only one thing? So
Okay.
questions, but that has always helped me to kind of uh, question the narrative, and therefore come up with new ways of approaching the same old problems. And I think that's where ideas come from, right?
Hmm.
So
Right.
yeah, so it's innovation is not really something which is completely out of the box. Innovation is usually doing the same thing but in a different manner, right? That's what they also say about people who are successful in lives, right? It's not that they're doing different things, it's just that they're doing things differently, right? And yeah, so I think my curious nature has led me to you know uh, being bombarded with a lot of ideas every day. So my problem is never having enough ideas. My problem usually is, which one should I focus on? That's not easy.
So, ma'am, what kind of books do you like to read in your free time?
I don't have any free time because I'm always doing something. Either I'm doing something, doing something. But yes, so obviously, the profession that I'm in now, I read a lot
Hmm.
of personal development books, right, on different facets, different
Yeah.
theories, um, of course. But
Hmm.
before I became a writer, I was
Hmm.
always a reader. So writer just
Hmm.
happened after the age of 40, in fact, right? But reader I've been, I think,
Okay. Hmm.
from the age of 4 or 5,
Hmm.
because I remember. So my childhood years were in a city called Lucknow, right? And I remember that
Okay.
just down the lane from where we used to live, there was this
Hmm.
very little small library. And I think my parents,
Okay.
they could see that I won't say hyperactive, but highly energetic child, right? And they
Okay.
wanted this brilliant idea of taking me to this teeny tiny library down the road. And I think when I
Hmm.
entered that library, it was almost like a new world which had opened up to me, right? And
Wow.
so my journey of reading started very early in life, and it started with
Hmm.
obviously children's books. So even till date, if you ask me who is my favorite author, just in case that's the next question, well, it's Enid Blyton because
Ah,
that's what I grew up with. And like they say, you are a lot to do with how you were as a child. So for me,
right.
those books about friendship, about this Saint Clair's, Margarita's, the girls' hostel books, or mystery
Yeah.
novels. I was a very big fan. I used to read a lot of Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys. I had a
Hmm.
big crush on one of the Hardy Boys, Frank. Tall, dark, handsome, serious kind of thing.
Okay.
So yeah, those are the kind of books I've enjoyed all my life. Um,
Hmm.
there were different phases in my life. So there was the Enid Blyton phase. Then there was the Mills and Boons phase, when I became a teenager. I was the official supplier of Mills and Boons in my school. Very proud to say that.
Okay.
But yeah, now I read slightly heavier stuff. But once in a while, I like to lay my hands on biographies,
Okay.
which can be quite interesting because I love to read about people's journeys, and
Yeah.
how their life really made them who they are today. So sometimes
Hmm.
those are interesting. But yeah,
Okay.
like with most of us now, probably I'm reading books 30% of the time, and 70% I'm just consuming data on the right.
Yeah. So talking about criticism is good and bad. So how do you handle criticism and how do you take it in a constructive manner?
So you assumed I take it in a constructive manner, huh? Well, first of all, let me admit to you, I am only human. So therefore,
Hmm.
like everybody else, I do not like criticism, and I take it very badly.
Right.
however, yeah,
Okay.
the the more sober, smarter cap sometimes comes on, and see, I
Hmm.
believe criticism comes in two forms, Tanvi. Right? One
Hmm.
is uh, constructive criticism, right? Which means that
Yeah.
whenever I'm being critiqued on any subject,
Hmm.
my after my initial reaction of oh my god, I'm going to kill that person, right? After that initial reaction, I always try to see it objectively in terms of was it valid, was it
Hmm.
helpful, can it be
Hmm.
incorporated, will it be better, yeah.
Hmm.
So if the
Yeah.
answers to all these questions is yes, then of course I try to take an action out of it. See,
Yeah.
if there is a critique which is coming on you and you are unable
Hmm.
to utilize it and really take any action out of it, then what is the objective? Correct?
Right.
Correct. So if I
Right.
can take an action out of it and know that as an individual in whatever area I can go from A to B by incorporating that critique, then yes,
Hmm.
I definitely
Hmm.
try, right? So
Hmm.
that's one. However, if the answers to these questions are no, then it simply means that the person is just bashing me down, right?
Hmm.
Uh, Either
Right.
for their own vested interests, that also
Yeah.
happens in competitive world, right? Or
Hmm.
because they have their own issues in life and are messed up about something, right? So at that
Yeah.
point, I sit and bother about that because that really is about that person's problem and not
Hmm.
my problem. So then I follow my mantra in life of KISS, keep life simple, right?
Yeah. That's
So
nice. Yeah.
and don't waste your time fretting about other people's opinions. So, there are two things. One is just an
Hmm.
opinion, and the other
Hmm.
is a constructive critique. If it's constructive,
Hmm.
I take it, I try to incorporate it. If it's just an
Hmm.
opinion, or then that's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. As simple,
Right.
right? And then I
Yeah.
just stop and I move on.
Okay. So here we come to an end. Thank you for being here. It was amazing to interact with you, and it was my pleasure to talk with you.
No, no, pleasure was mine as well, equally. Thank you for inviting me here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.